What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Rad and Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. Guys, I'm sure this is going to come as a huge surprise to you if you're anybody that knows me or has seen any videos on my channel, but the helmet that I was talking about in past videos that I would recommend that I actually really love is actually a Ruroc.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a
All right, so this helmet is the Ruroc EOX. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's EOX. So the EOX on their website as of this video is starting at $4.99. To me, $4.99 is actually a pretty good price for this helmet. Now, I happen to subscribe to their email, so I get like notifications, and I'm glad I actually didn't turn it off, even though I was really fed up with their 4.0 helmets, which you guys should know if you've seen those videos. But this helmet, this plain black, I was actually able to get for something like $250 or something like that. They had a crazy deal at one point. So let's discuss some of the differences between this and when I got the 4.0, there was just the Atlas 4.0. Since then, they have different options. So the one that I basically got was the Atlas 4.0 Carbon. So as of this video, on their website, that starts at $475. The EOX starts at $499. The Carbon is made of carbon fiber. The EOX is made of a quad composite shell containing carbon fiber, nylon, fiberglass, and Kevlar. The weight of the Atlas 4.0 Carbon in a SM is 1,600 grams plus or minus 50 grams. The EOX weight is 1,500 grams in a medium plus or minus 50 grams. So already a lighter weight, even though it's not 100% carbon shell. Now, they're both compatible with Shockwave, their own version. The EOX has a Shockwave that's specific for the EOX, two different models of it, which we'll get into later. And then the Atlas 4.0, those series have their own Shockwave, just one option. The headliner is a Rayon headliner. It's that blue kind of spongy, almost like straw-like kind of material. All around supposed to make for comfort and increase safety. They both have that. As far as certifications, the 4.0 has ECE 22.06 and DOT, and so does EOX. They both have the Fidlock chin strap. They both have the same field of view. They both include a clear and a tinted visor, but the EOX includes a clear pin lock insert as well. Now again, if everything is the same for the base prices, you're looking at about a $25 increase for the EOX. It is 100% worth it. Let me get into some of the other details that I kind of screenshot that I wanted to make sure I explained to you guys. I covered safety already, what the ratings are. The EOX, according to the Ruroc's website, is 40% increased riding stability versus the Atlas 4.0. It contains 3 shell sizes, so for those of you that are kind of new to helmets, what that means is even if the helmet manufacturer has like a small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, 3XL, 5, you know, whatever, if let's say they have 7 different sizes you could buy. That is sizes you can buy. The company will only have a certain amount of shell sizes. That means the physical hard portion of the helmet only comes in certain sizes, and the different pads are what changes for different sizes. So long story short, the more shell sizes that helmet has, the better it's going to be for you, because that means you're going to get more of a tailored fit. It's not going to be too big when you have a small, because you're not sharing the same shell sizes with bigger sizes, if that makes sense. So they have 3. Max protection, minimum protection, 2 options of cheek pads that it comes with. See what else. They use a quad lock matrix of T300 carbon fiber reinforced with Kevlar, nylon, and fiberglass. Same field of vision as the other ones. The EOX combines 6 optimized vents with channeled EPS, which is the interior, it's like the lining, EPS to generate an adjustable airflow throughout the helmet. Let's go over some of the stuff that kind of comes with it. We talked about the Fidlock, the chin strap, stuff like that, moisture wicking, all that crap. Washable inner liner, kind of par for the course. New head form composed of 4 parts of EPS. Intermediate oval, which is important for you guys to note. It is an intermediate oval. 6 parts EPS, EPP, channeled multi-density. For the interior of it, it's 4 different densities, optimized for low, medium, and high energy impacts. So there are 3 shell sizes, like I said. It's 5% lighter than the Atlas 4.0 carbon, which is what we just compared it to with the physical numbers I gave you for the grams of weight. 4 intake and 2 exhaust vents, 2 top vents, 2 chin/front raid air control vents, 2 exhaust vents, 37% improved angular velocity magnitude compared against the Atlas 4.0 track, which was their most obviously track-specific helmet. 110% improved thermal over Atlas 4.0 carbon. It doesn't explain which thermal, like if it's good for heat or cold or whatever, but we'll get into the my opinions and comfort and everything like that. Visor stayed the same. 2D optical correct visor, ECE certification for night and day use, anti-scratch coating, contains a pin lock, and of course, kind of normal nowadays with helmets, a tool-less visor change, and it according to them, it claims a 5% change or removal of visor. Now let's get into my opinions of this thing, because as you guys heard me say in the beginning, and as you guys have heard me in the past, this is now my favorite helmet. It's my go-to helmet that I would recommend 100% to anybody, even if it's not on sale at all. Here's why. All right, so one is comfort. Pretty much the only positive thing I've ever said about the Atlas 4.0 when I had it was comfort. I said it is a very comfortable helmet, never knocked it for the comfort. It was one of the highest comfortable helmets I had. This helmet saved everything I liked and improved upon it. So you heard me talk about it includes 2 different pairs of cheek pads from the factory, in the box. I went ahead and it comes with the kind of bigger, thicker ones that have kind of a thicker neck roll portion of it. I went ahead and changed those out because I got it in midsummer and I wanted as much ventilation and as little stuff there as possible. Now the cheek portion of it was a little bit thinner, although you can kind of rip and tear the pieces of the other cheek pads kind of normally for the thicker bunch, but this has less of a neck roll on it. So this allows more airflow up and kind of in towards like the ear and the neck portions of it like that, just based on the fact that the cheek pad doesn't go as far down on that portion of the neck. But like I said, that was in the middle of summer. We are getting to our 2-week stretch of winter here in Southwest Florida, which means I'm going to be putting in the other cheek pads and kind of experimenting with those. Now, kind of continue talking about cheek pads. The interior, pretty much the exact same. It's like it reminds me of like a very nice interior suede of a car, like a suede interior of a car. These are the neck roll kind of portions are still prevalent on these cheek pads, but again, not as big as the other ones. They do allow a little airflow until you like kind of hunch down and squash your neck. If you're just kind of sitting normal, airflow does get in there. Something that you guys know I don't like is this magnetic fidlock chin strap. Now it is nice, it's convenient because it's super easy to do with or without gloves, and it's easy to just do real quick, especially sometimes, it happened where I had the double D rings and for whatever reason I forgot to do it before I got on the bike and started rolling. Down the street, that's impossible to do 2 hands with a double D ring and the wind flap and everything. It's never gonna happen unless you're used to doing it or your gloves are crazy thin. For me, I never got it to work. I tried, never could do it. So this is super easy. Oh crap, I forgot I did, I'm already 30, 40 miles down, cruising down the road, 30, 40 miles an hour, just grab it real quick, put it on, and it's magnetically good and it's attached. The reason I don't like it is because it's a lot of extra like bulky material. With the double D ring, you get the D's up here, and it's just the strap looped back on itself. With the fidlock, you have this kind of bulky piece where it kind of sits, it's a lot and it's right in my neck. Maybe different face structures, different head kind of stuff doesn't really impact them as much, but for me, I guess I have a shorter neck or whatever, it does bother me. It's not ideal, but I have learned to live with it, and the ease of use is obviously very nice, but it's still not my favorite. I would still probably prefer a double D ring. But interior, super, super nice and comfy. You can buy some different padding options and swap them all out. I don't have any hot spots. I do say this one is true to fit. Pretty much right on the spot is where it would go. I'm trying to remember which size I have if I see it here. This is a large. Actually, so I take that back. It's not true to fit. I wear a medium on pretty much every other helmet that I've ever had. AGV, Scorpion, Arai, Shoei, they're all been mediums. This EOX, I wear a large, according to what this says. It's a large. Again, the DOT and the ECE certifications are pretty much top notch. We'll get into the Shockwave in a little bit. The air flow. You guys know when I talked about the Atlas 4.0, I said the airflow was garbage. You could not tell it at all. Also, side note, I've been using this helmet every single day, with the exception of like maybe 1 or 2 days here and there, depending on, you know, what the weather's been like, if it's been raining or whatever. I've been using this helmet every single day for about, I'd say at least 3 months, maybe 4 months. I use it on my e-bike for commuting because my e-bike gets up to kind of high speeds, and it's just more ease and comfortable for this, especially having the face mask portion of it. So I use it on that. I use it on the motorcycle a bunch, and I have, although I don't intentionally do it, I have gotten caught in the rain, and I can 100% say that this was completely waterproof, you know, for the face portion of it. It didn't sneak by any seals or vents in my experience. So back to the venting. The venting in the past, my biggest issue is the head venting. There's always going to be availability of venting here. You can always crack the face shield. It gets through the neck roll, whatever, or the curtain, the neck curtain. There's always going to be options on the bottom, so I'm never really worried about the bottom. The top is what I'm worried about, because if you don't have the flow on the head, you can't feel it. It just gets really hot up there, especially in the Florida heat, and it just really sucks, and it takes away from the enjoyment of riding, for me at least. This helmet, you can feel. You get going about 15, 20 miles an hour and you can feel it immediately. Now, I will say, as a very upright, kind of 90-degree upright, you don't feel it as much until you get into the 40 to 50 mile an hour range, which is kind of typical riding, speed anyway. But as soon as you tilt it down a little bit, nothing crazy, just a conscious kind of little bit of a tilt, you immediately feel it. So if you are riding a sport bike or something where you're crouched over a little bit more, you're not going to have any issue at all. And I do still think that it is, even with that minor issue, I do actually think it's one of the best venting helmets I've ever had. I think it's pretty much on par with the Arai Corsair X, which until this one was the best one, if not better. It's been a while since I've had that, so it's hard for me to 100% remember, even although I had that for like 2 or 3 years and put several thousand miles on that helmet. It has been a little bit, so it's a little bit fuzzy in my, my memory, but I would say this is pretty much at least equal to it, if not better. It's right in there. The bottom vent, I will say the neck curtain is pretty good. It does tend, when you're putting on the helmet, to get kind of tucked up, so all you have to do is remember, if you feel a little bit excess wind, to flap it back out. I have not had any real issues with wind getting past this, just beyond that very, very little bit coming in, and it's not bad at all. It does have, try my best to have you guys see this, it does have a little kind of switch for the vent for this portion of it. I'll be honest with you, I don't really feel a difference depending on which spot it's in, but again, the bottom vents, never an issue with me. Honestly, you could block this vent 100% and I wouldn't have an issue with it. That's just not where the wind needs to come from for me. You can always just vent it with the face shield. As far as the face shield, I've used the dark and the clear. The dark is very good. The clear is where I use most of it, because most of my riding is done in the early morning hours before the sun even comes out. The face shield, the field of view has always been good on the Rurocs. That's been another huge positive about them. So kind of kept that. I will say the locking mechanism feels better, even though it's the same kind of style on the left side. It does feel easier to click in, easier to click out of, more positive engagement in general than the Atlas 4.0 Carbon did. I will say that the indents, kind of where it goes, are not super positive. They will stay for a little bit, but it doesn't, honestly, I don't really think that's that big of a deal. Really, all you want is it to go all the way up. And to me, it's important to have this, but it's also important to be able to have that barely locked so you get a little bit in. You can also, on this helmet, if you want, if you push a little bit, it'll stay a little bit more cracked, and then you'll have that, which to me, this is not unusable because the end of this is kind of right in your line of vision. And you have 3 indents, but again, the only ones that I ever feel are important are 100% up, and then at least a little bit to get a crack so you get more airflow in there. And this does a good job of staying cracked open with airflow. And again, the locking mechanism with the Atlas 4.0 Carbon, there was issues sometimes where it wouldn't go and you had to like slam it down. This one, no matter how slow it is or whatever, I've never had issues. It always pushes, into that detent very nicely. And the seal has always been good. I don't have any issues with, excess noise coming from it, where you can hear the little whistling with it cracking in and closing it or whatever. No issues with that. As far as noise, since we're kind of on that topic, noise in general is pretty on par for normal kind of everyday helmets. I would feel like this one. It is not the quietest helmet I've ever had, but it's also by far not the loudest helmet. I'd say it's in the upper 80 to 100% of quiet helmets that I've had. So it does pretty good as far as noise goes. The older I get, the more I appreciate the quiet helmets because the drone of the bike at just cruising for 40, 50 an hour, whatever, like that just annoys me. So having a quieter helmet is very nice. The quality control, which was something I had a huge issue with on the Atlas 4.0 Carbon, where the rubber was coming off even like within a few days of me even getting it. That just sucked. No issues with this. This has been out in the sun for many hours. This has been in the garage heat for many hours. This has been, I mean, like I said, I use this every day for several months already before I made this video, and I've had no signs of issues with it. I've had no concerns. I mean, I, at this point, have as much faith in the quality control of this helmet as I would any other helmet that I've had, you know, be it Shoei, Arai, whatever. I don't have any issues with buffeting with this helmet in at least my motorcycle, which currently is the Sportster behind you. No matter that motorcycle, the e-bikes or whatever, I've not had an issue with buffeting with this. I didn't necessarily have a plain issue with buffeting the other one, but I did feel a kind of unsteady feeling. It's kind of hard to describe. It just didn't feel very stable, especially when doing kind of checks to the left and the right. This helmet, I do not have that with at all. I do 100% believe that what they said on their you know, on their website as far as it being 30% more or 37% more stability or whatever what they said. I can't remember the numbers now. But whatever they said about it, I think they actually did their homework with it and really actually did improve it, because the helmet does feel a lot more stable. It doesn't feel heavy at all. At speed, it doesn't feel heavy. At low speed, there's nothing uncomfortable or, you know, stability decreasing about this helmet, in my opinion, that I've experienced yet. It is big. It is still a bigger helmet than your kind of typical sizes, especially like your Shoei and Arai, that kind of more circular, more so even the Arai, kind of the outer shell is very circular. So it is a little bit bigger of a helmet, but it doesn't, this one doesn't feel like that. The Atlas 4.0 Carbon did feel like that. This one doesn't feel like that. So that is a huge plus. So I think we pretty much covered everything. We covered venting, we covered comfort, we covered noise. Let me just, for the heck of it, show you guys real quick how it is to change the visor. It's been a while since I did this, so hopefully I do it correctly and I don't look like an idiot. There's a little tab here. You just kind of push that tab down and it just pops out. It's pretty easy to do. To get it back in, you just have to push that in the inside, get that little tab on that portion of it, and it pushes back in. So I'm not going to take the whole thing off because there's no reason. You just saw me take that side off. It's the exact same thing for the other side. No difference. Again, it is a super comfortable helmet. I mean, guys, I've had an $800-something Arai, and I'm saying that I would pick this over that helmet now. Even if this was $700 or $800, I probably would still pick this. Now, that's another thing Ruroc has going for it, is that the price for the Rurocs right now are, in my opinion, very good. $499 is a solid price for this helmet. Now, granted, you're going to pay more for the other styles and whatever, just like any other helmet does. Any other helmet manufacturer does. You know, they charge for different color schemes or whatever. But I think this is very, very, it's a very good price. Something else I do want to kind of touch on with this is the customer service, because you guys know that was a big issue I had when I purchased the Atlas 4.0 Carbon originally. In my experience, the customer service still has not changed. So when I bought this, my fault completely. So we're getting ready to talk about it, because this is a huge issue I had with the other one. So we're getting ready, I promise. But the Shockwave, the audio Bluetooth communication system that fits in these helmets, it's proprietary to them. You cannot put it on any other helmet. The Atlas 4.0 has its own, and the EOX has its own, right? They're not compatible at all. Now the Atlas one is cheaper. The EOX one is, I think, like $20, $30 more, something like that. So now what I will tell you is, when I originally bought this, you guys know I got it on sale. It was a really good deal, which is why this was even an insane, you know, deal for me as well. So I got this helmet and I wanted to try out their new Shockwave, so I put it in the cart. About 2 days after, I was looking at my order, see if it shipped yet or whatever, and I realized I ordered the 4.0 Shockwave and not the EOX Shockwave. So I sent an email to Ruroc. I filled out their kind of contact me form, which does an email basically, which you guys know I've had awful experience with in the past. And basically it's the same experience. So they basically said at first, so like, hey, we can't change out, the order. You'll have to return it and buy it. So I was like, all right, whatever. I don't understand how you can't just refund or, stop shipment on half of it. It hasn't left the warehouse yet. I don't know why you can't just stop, like you're unable to change it. Didn't make sense to me, but whatever. I know people got different programs that they use for this stuff, so whatever. So I just went ahead and ordered the EOX one, waited, and returned this. Now, I don't remember the exact dates and stuff, and it wasn't that big of a deal enough for me to pull it or whatever. But I do very much remember me having to email them several times just to be able to set the return up. Once it was delivered, set the return up for the Shockwave for the 4.0. So I will say, if you're needing their customer service, still not great customer service, which is very unfortunate to see because the helmets have come such a high way compared to the 4.0s. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and I think the helmets at the price point and the quality they have is worth kind of trying to look past the customer service right now. It just sucks if you have to use them. Now, we're going to talk about the Shockwave, because those of you who had experience with the Shockwave for the 4.0 know that it was the biggest piece of garbage you could have ever imagined as far as user interface in the world for helmet Bluetooth comms. The old one, so those of you who don't know, like I said, it's a proprietary thing that's only for the Ruroc stuff. The old 4.0 Shockwave, so all the helmets have stuff pre-wired in there. You basically get this kit, the headphone or the speakers fit in pockets that kind of place inside. They're very nice cutouts for those specific speaker systems. They're little, they have like an inch or two of 3.5 millimeter like headphone jack stuff. They plug into the cuts that are already molded into the helmet liner. And then the back for the Shockwave was where you put the system. That was the battery. It kind of fit in the back, and that was it. Now on the EOX, the same internal stuff, although the speakers are better. And then the side, so it's two things. This is one side, and this is where the USB portion to charge it is, and you can kind of unclip this. Just look at how quick that comes out. That's crazy. So you can clip that, kind of fits back in, except I just did it the wrong way, like an idiot. And now I'm gonna look stupid on camera. You gotta make sure those clips are in first. It just clips in, and it's back in. And then this one, same deal. It just clips, and it kind of pushes in. It's back in. Now, they went to, from the back, as you can imagine, especially with a helmet this big, going from the back with your jacket on, gloves or whatever, behind your head, trying to figure out what buttons to press to skip a song, to pause a song, to change, decrease volume or whatever, a nightmare. They went to a more kind of traditional style on this helmet with the left, left, right, bottom, top, and center pieces. It's kind of similar where you hold, the front and the back to turn it on, or you just press it really quick. I will say the speaker quality is very, very good. I've had no issue with it getting more than loud enough. In fact, it goes way louder than I think you should ever use, even with earplugs, because there's just, you're already going to be very deaf, before putting this on if you need it at the highest volume. It gets very, very loud. The audio quality is good. The Bluetooth connectivity to the phone is good. Now they do have two different options. One is centered more around kind of user, your own rider kind of stuff, music, phone calls, and I think it's like 1 or 2 rider connectivity, which is the one I got because it's kind of the normal price, kind of typical on par with like Cardo and stuff like that. And then the other one, which is super nice to see, they actually partnered up with Cardo, and they used Cardo's Bluetooth mesh stuff, and you can communicate with basically an infinite amount of riders if that's something that you want. So it is a little bit pricier for that, which is nothing that I've ever needed to worry about. So 99% of the time I ride by myself anyway. And the people when I do ride, honestly, I don't even really do that much communication with them. I've connected with all my rides, Tail of Dragon, local, whatever. I've connected with one person. It was Brian. Be Ready. He used to have a YouTube channel, but he's not cool anymore. He canceled his YouTube channel. So that was the only person I've ever connected with, and we used it like a hair, like it was barely that much. And if I didn't have connectivity, it wouldn't have been a make or break kind of thing. But it is nice to know because the past Shockwave not only was the user interface to use it an absolute nightmare. It was trash. Whoever thought of that should have been fired. And maybe they are. Maybe maybe the new guy thought of this and he's a genius. But not only was the user interface so bad, but the communication between helmets was like a phone call type, like you had to use your phone. I never really messed with it too much. I just knew kind of the roundabout ways of going with it, but it was not well thought out. The new ones here actually use mesh Bluetooth, Cardo's existing, software and stuff for it, which is great. So yeah, it's awesome because it clicks into the helmet. It increases your aerodynamicy compared to the kind of bigger clippy ones that are on there. It makes wiring way easier because everything's internally wired. You just kind of plug and play stuff. It's very, very good, which is the main reason I really wanted to try the EOX. If the EOX had used the same Shockwave stuff that the 4.0 used, I would have never even bought it to try it. But yeah, the new Shockwave for the EOX is really good. The ability to, you can clearly see or clearly feel where the buttons are on the side. It's a very normal position for those of you that have used Cena, Lexan, Cardo in the past and stuff. And the audio quality is very, very good. So overall, this helmet is a 9 out of 10. There's always stuff that could be better about helmets, but honestly, this helmet is pretty damn good. Now, I know some people out there are probably going to be skeptical to me doing this review and be like, oh, now Ruroc pays and whatever. Nope, I bought this helmet 100% with my own money. Ruroc doesn't know who I am. I mean, they might after this video. I don't know. I bought the Shockwave with my own money. I dealt with the I dealt with the customer service issues with, on my own. Didn't mention anything. Didn't ask for anything, whatever. Just so happened I actually was going to unsubscribe from their stuff, but I was like, oh, let me keep it, see if they ever have, something different that people are talking about or whatever. So yeah, I haven't seen a massive amounts of reviews of this helmet on YouTube like I did when the Atlas 4.0 came out, before they changed, and then they have the Atlas 4.0 Carbon, Street, whatever. I have seen a few reviews of this, but I haven't seen as many. When the 4.0s came out for Ruroc, it was like every YouTuber in the entire world did like 7 videos on this helmet, and they were all free, and it was ridiculous. So I don't know if Ruroc kind of learned from that, or they got just enough, exposure based on that stuff that they didn't have to do anymore and lose kind of the money on the helmets. Or if somebody behind the scenes at Ruroc was just like, hey, we're getting crap for this because we look stupid by doing this. People are, finding out that the helmets aren't as great as people are saying or whatever. We're having issues, whatever it is. Let's stop doing that and just focus on doing good helmets, and the word will get out, on their own. Whatever they're doing over there, I'm very pleased to see it, and I'm very happy with this helmet. I'm happy I took the gamble on buying it originally, and now I'm happy that I can, for certain tell you guys it is a good buy. Now, hopefully, I haven't heard of any issues people are having with this. Now, if there are any issues, if you're, if you buy this or you already have and you have an issue, please comment below, let me know. I want to know. Again, my sample size is only 1. I might have lucked out this time and gotten the only EOX that doesn't have issues with, the cheek, or not the cheek pegs, but the kind of the rubber on the bottom. I might have the only one that doesn't, come apart and the quality control isn't crap on. I don't know. I hope not. But I really like these. As, kind of typical, you guys probably see a bunch of marks on this. I use this helmet, like I said, every day. Typically with matte surfaces, just doing this, my hands are clean and I'm still getting minor fingerprints with the matte surfaces. It's just gonna happen with matte. It has nothing to do with which brand you get. It's just a matte paint quality. So it's just something to think about if you do get a matte color. Again, I got this because it was a huge price cut. And if you do subscribe to them, a lot of times they do have really good sales and they just email, you just gotta see what it is. So yeah, hopefully this helped you guys determine if this is a good fit for you. Hopefully this, determine, actually before I close this out, I do want to say also, Ruroc offers their own GoPro or action camera kind of mount where it just has these spindles to put the screw in for the, the attachment for it. I have not had great luck with those in the past. I know a bunch of other people don't like them either. I have always used the, RideTech? Yeah. I've always used the RideTech Moto mount on every helmet I've had. They've always had a mount available for it. They're like 10, 15 bucks or whatever. It's a 3D printed, but it's very good quality and it's molded specifically to your helmet, and it's cut out basically so you can put the quick detach, almost like a cold shoe, but it's not the same, but it's the same concept, I guess. But it's molded for like the GoPro DJI, kind of click in portion. and the Ride Tech has never let me down. The adhesive has always been great. The fit has always been great. It's just been a really good option on every helmet I've ever had. So I would say if you're doing that kind of stuff, check out Ride Tech Moto. I don't have any coupons or whatever, but I just really like their company. I've used them on multiple different helmets with great response, whatever. So yeah, there's the Ruroc. This is if anybody asks me what helmet to get, this is it. Cold weather, it keeps the heat out when you close the vents. Hot weather, it lets the air in when you open the vents. It's a great field of view. It's super, super comfortable. It's a lot lighter weight. It's a great helmet right now, especially at the price point. I think Ruroc's finally a very, very good competitor. And I think you'd be foolish if you're in the market for a helmet. I think you'd be foolish not to try this EOX out, unless you, of course, don't have an intermediate oval shape, in which case then you can't. But yeah, hopefully this helped you guys. Hopefully this kind of I don't know, maybe you're in the market for a new helmet, you have no idea about helmets or whatever, maybe you learned something today, I don't know, but hopefully this helps somebody get a good helmet situated for themselves, and you stay comfortable, and more importantly, you stay safe out there. Thank you guys very much for watching. TikTok, Instagram, everything like that is in the description. The link for this will be in the description, link for everything else I use and playlists on the channel, all that's always in the description. Click the thumbs up on this video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on post notifications, all that. And until the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun, Dad out.